Hey everybody, Andrew here from Ironman Hacks, brought to you by COS Coaching, and I'm here with Hayden Wilde. Hayden, how was your day? I mean, it's a rhetorical question.
Yeah, it was good. It was definitely probably one of my smarter races today, but yeah, just went out there and just had to race my own race. I guess first off, the swim was hot, like it was on, and I was actually in the first group around the first pontoon, but it was just too fast. And I knew if I just kept kept in the group, I was going to blow. So I decided to actually just drop back a little bit and just like drift onto feed, and actually felt really comfortable heading into the second K, and actually started making moves in the water to get me into a better position. So I was pretty happy with that. And then got onto the bike, and it only took me a few K to get to, I guess, that front group. And wow, man, Rico was quick out there in the first 3 laps. Like, it was impressive. And then, but yeah, I just needed to. It took about 40 minutes for everyone to settle down and get into like their own rhythm, and just decided to just do my own thing and push with the power that I wanted to push. And really happy with that. But my heart rate, was super high on the ride. And I think everyone else was saying the same thing. It was just so hot. The exposure to the sun was out, and there was no cloud cover, and it was rough.
Yeah, because you guys were out right in the early afternoon, which is pretty much the worst possible time.
Yeah, and it was just like, you'd climb and your heart rate would go, 165, and I don't normally see those numbers on the bike, and then you try and not pedal downhill, but you still have to pedal, and you try and drop it down below around 150, and it was just that 150, 160, and that's real high for riding for me, and got onto the run and just made sure.
Can I ask what kind of power you're doing on the bike?
Yeah, like it was. I actually got to see, but for the climbs, I was trying to average around that 380 watts, and then most of the flats and descents around that 280, 300. But yeah, you just had to keep real conservative and make sure you don't overdo it. And I had power limits within, and I knew if I started creeping over 400 up the climbs, I would probably get into trouble. So it was just being super conservative, just making sure I was actually in aero position like that whole ride, which I was really happy with. I was mostly I think I came out of position once or twice. And then, got onto the run, and that was making sure I was, in control and going at a pace and keeping it below a certain heart rate for me, that I knew that I could do the 18K in a pretty relatively good state.
And did you lose a bottle on the bike?
I lost about 3 bottles on the bike, but I was really happy because I'm pretty good with going through aid stations and picking up bottles. So I was getting 3 bottles every aid station, which was nice. So I would spray one, put one in the bike, and then carry on. So.
But what about nutrition?
Yep. So I had, I think I had three normal gels and then 2 caffeine gels on the bike today.
May I ask what your overall nutrition strategy was? Like how many carbs per hour or sodium or whatever? What are you doing?
I had no sodium. I'm pretty good with cramps, so just water. I literally was only water. And my flask, which I normally don't do, it was a 160 Morton. So what's that, like 30 grams of carbs there. And then the gels, I was trying to get one in every 5K, every lap, so to speak. So I was getting 5 gels in, more or less, plus the fluid. So I was getting probably 100 and 120 in per hour for the first part. And then when you get onto run, you slowly descend that, but I also had 3 gels on the run, so that kind of goes up to 90. So I would say overall, like I pre-carb pretty high. And then, from there, just made sure my topping was. That was my issue in 70.3 Topol was I misfueled in the morning of the race, but this time I was spot on, and I didn't have to. You don't have to fuel as much in the ride and the race, so to speak. So.
Yep, I saw you there. Tried to catch you, but I didn't. But I'm glad I got you here. 120 grams on the bike's a lot. But I guess that's insurance later for the run, right?
Yeah, and I've got a pretty, being from New Zealand, we've got pretty, cast iron stomachs as well. So, sometimes just for the fun of it, I would put, 2 sachets of, 320 mix and just see how it goes in, a 500 milliliter bottle. That shit's thick. Yeah. And it's, 120 grams just in a bottle. And you just try to see if you can get that down.
But it's a good experiment because once you learn your upper limit, then you know that you can handle that. If your stomach can handle that, then that gives you all the more power and benefit for later. And then you don't have to take it in in the run? Is that
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I guess for me, like it works for me personally. It works really well where I probably put in more carbs on the bike just because it's easier, and then I start kind of descending on carbs, so to speak, on the runs. So like I think overall in the race, I'd probably be in hours. I would probably be at about 90 grams per hour, but like on the ride would be top heavy, so 100, 120. So it kind of evens out in the end.
amazing? Anyway, congratulations. Phenomenal job. And I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you so much. Cheers.